Helena.
Hey, I'm Kelly.
And we are Speaker Insight, where we help speakers, authors and coaches to build a business on your terms. Now, so as you know, every week we start off with what's the buzz in your business, because we really do want to get you used to sharing what you're doing that's exciting and fun and informative for all of your audience. So we're going to do the same. So what's been fun and exciting for us
Lots of stuff.
is we yesterday we had a really brilliant day, actually going over with some Connection Hub members. Hi to everyone who's actually watching. With some Connection Hub members, really going through, highlighting the reviewing of their own positioning, their marketing, how they're actually showing up, and checking whether they're still on track to really have a business on their terms. So that was a really successful and amazing day, in fact. The other thing is, and Kelly's going to put a link to it, is that the self-publishing conference is actually happening on the 28th of this month. So we thought we'd give you a heads up for those of you, especially the authors, who are really wanting to look at that as an option. So you might want to go and attend that. And I have to say, for me, the most exciting thing, I think for you too, is that our retreat is actually live. So the link for our retreat is live. Kelly's going to pop it in
and
there.
Alison's just joined us. Alison was on our last retreat, and connect with her in the Connection Hub if you want to find out what she got from the retreat. But she is a published Hay House author, and her book was at the London Book Fair the other week ago. So the cover is looking awesome.
It really, it's just amazing. And so we say massive, massive congratulations. And that's really part of the whole thing, is just celebrating that. Now, I'm going to hand it over to Kelly, because I suspect that this might be one of those Facebook Lives that gets more live views. Who knows?
We'll see, right? So, as always, we always do the surveys in the group to find out what you want, and one of the things is about confidence around doing Facebook Lives. Now, we thought it was quite appropriate for us to do one, and especially for me to do one. Yes! Seeing as I did my first Facebook Live 10 weeks ago, right? So there was a reason which I probably empathise with a lot of you of why you're not doing Facebook Lives. So we sat down and went, okay, what's the things that are holding people back, and how can we support you by doing your first one? Or if you've been doing them, how to make them better and how to make them impactful.
Definitely.
And it's one of the things, Alison's just saying woohoo. One of the things that we get asked a lot, and we say a lot, we've only been going for like a few months, is how are we growing this group so quickly, right? We're like nearly at 750 members after 10 weeks, and we haven't done any adverts or any paid stuff yet. This is all organic, people sharing, us talking about it quite a lot. And I actually truly believe that our Facebook Lives are probably our key success for the growth of the group, right? And the engagement of the group.
Totally.
So 10 weeks ago, we've been consistently doing them. We've been consistently asking, what do you want us to do Facebook Lives on? What topics? And we turn up at the same time, at the same day, on the same page, all the time. So people are now expecting us at this time on a Tuesday to go live. And if we don't, we're not going to. No. I'm sure we'll go, people, where have they died? Has something happened? So one of the things that we want to cover today is like an 8-step plan of how do you feel really confident, okay? Because that's the thing, is what's holding you back, and what was holding me back was quite a few things. I'm an introvert, so that's one of the things that I'm like, I really don't like the spotlight being on me. I don't really like, I'm a perfectionist, right? So that whole, I need to make sure everything's perfect, and what if something happens that I can't control, and all these
Trust me, this vase has moved several times.
But these are the things that hold me back, and it was about the visibility, it was about the vulnerability, it was about the perfectionism. And actually what got me out of my own way was JDFI, right, just doing it, but also the preparation. So what we want to go through today is actually a lot about how we prepare, and we'll take some pictures of this one. I think we're quite good to show the setup of our thing. And
so you can see what we're actually looking at the moment.
Because we do a lot of prep work. It's not like we do trial runs, but we really work through, well, we did the first one.
We definitely did the first one, I won't lie to you.
But it's about the preparation work, which puts your mind at ease. Like anything, if you're speaking, you need to prep, you need to stand on the stage and see what it feels like to be in front of that audience and all those types of things. A Facebook Live is no different to a speaking engagement or an interview or whatever. So we're going to go through those points. What I want to know from you, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching this on the catch-up, is I want to get an understanding of where our audience is at. So if you've done a Facebook Live, even if it's just one, please type yes in the comments.
Yes.
And if you are still yet to do your first Facebook Live, I want you to put virgin in the comments, right? So yes if you've done one before, and virgin if you haven't. Whether you're watching this live on the catch-up, it'll be really good for us to actually see what stage our audience is at and where we need to land this information.
And if you really want to embellish, you know, sort of actually saying yes and I'm a speaker, yes and I'm a coach, might be even more useful, just so that people can begin to get a gauge of what's actually kind of happening. So, as you might have guessed, now Kelly's making out that like she's the one that's kind of leading the plan and everything else, but for those of you who've worked with me and know me well enough, you'll know that both of us, like what you might expect of us, is that we're always going to suggest, whether you are in person or on screen, we're always going to suggest that you plan. For us, it is all about the planning, because actually the plan allows you, weirdly, the freedom to actually be much more you, so much more you. So in order to plan, really, we're going to take you through, as Kelly said, 8 steps that are in there. And really the key thing about the planning is start with the end in mind. So we're going to ask you some questions around that. But the key thing really is always start with why. You know, good old Simon Sinek and that. Hi Emma, lovely to see you watching. This is definitely one for you.
I have to butt in with this. I love Alison's done a little bit of an elaboration on Virgin. She's done like Virgin.
Oh, and good on you.
Julie Stevens, you must be taking notes there. She's got to do a Facebook Live today.
Woohoo! Right,
I've done
okay,
one before,
good.
but this is your time to make a real big impact.
Yes, that's it. And so write down all your answers, Julie, as you go, and that goes for every single one of the others of you as well. So here's the thing. You start with, why am I doing this Facebook Live? And indeed, who am I doing it for? Those 2 questions are absolutely paramount to answer, because actually it might be that you are going to be a Facebook guest on somebody else's Facebook Live. That's going to be very different from the content that you actually share on your own setup. So for example, you know, you now know that we go live every Tuesday at 1 p.m. And so that actually makes a real difference for us. Now, why did we choose Tuesdays at 1? We chose Tuesdays at 1, not for you, but for us. Because actually, in order to be consistent, in order to actually be able to show up regularly, we considered, you know, what the audience might like. But most of all, we considered, does this work for us in terms of the business on our terms? And so we know that we are together working on a Tuesday, so it makes sense for us to do it at 1 p.m. in the day, so that we're not putting pressure on us, you know, traffic-wise, I need to get here and that sort of thing.
But so many people, they look at the insights on their page and go, oh, most of the people are on at this time.
6 a.m, yes!
But it doesn't work for you, right? So I use my husband as an example for this. So he does his at 8 o'clock on a Monday night. And that's because we don't have our stepdaughter on Monday. If he's doing speaking gigs or coaching, he's normally home by 8 o'clock. So it's got to fit into your lifestyle, right? And just like Emma's just said that she needs to catch the replay, I would say 80% of people are going to watch your replay rather than your live, right? So make sure it's a time that suits you, that you can be consistent, that fits into your lifestyle. And whoever rocks up live, great. And that you want to obviously increase your audience. Don't do it like 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever, but you want to have it at a time that suits you so you can be consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that regularity is what you start to get known for, and that consistency is what people start to trust you for as well. But more importantly, you don't put yourself out, so the Facebook Live doesn't become something that you hate. Back to the whole how to have the confidence to do it. If it's at a time where you have actually set it and you've committed to it, it's going to be a lot easier for you to feel more confident about actually showing up and providing the value. So, speaking of providing the value, are you ready? This is the pens out moment. So if you haven't got that happening already, then do. So really, the first question to answer is, why are you doing this and or any of the Facebook Lives that you're doing it? So consider for yourself, is it a contribution piece to your audience? Is it something that's going to really add value? And if not, why not? As far as I'm concerned.
Videos of you just eating your lunch
Blah,
and stuff
blah,
like that.
blah, 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 right? So the first question really becomes, how can I add value? What contribution can this Facebook Live be? And then the second thing is to consider, okay, is the Facebook Live about showcasing your expertise? Maybe it's around a particular subject. A lot of people, I'm going to say the dreaded GDPR word, there are people who have an expertise about certain things at the moment that might actually show up and share that expertise about something that is currently trending in some way.
Sorry, I'm laughing at Helen Bullen saying most of hers are just blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I've been on some of yours and they are so not.
They are
Helen.
truly not. You squeeze in lots and lots of juice, and really that's part of that whole showing up and sharing your expertise.
And being you.
Oh
you
my
are
God,
a conversationalist, Helen, so there's no way you're going to be like me and it will just be a left brain logical teach, right? If it was, I'd be like, who's taken over Helen's body?
Yeah.
But you can do it in your style and your
Exactly.
personality, but people have got to stay engaged and stay alert and get something from it. Think, okay, if I'm going to give you half an hour, whatever it is, of my time, I want to get something from that.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't change your style.
Yeah, that's it. So it's a contribution piece. It might be showcasing your expertise. It might be about you thinking, okay, you know what? I'm doing this on my page, and more on that in a minute. I'm doing this on my page, but actually what I really want is to get more people out over into my group. Well, okay, good. So part of what you need to say is that. It might be that actually you're known for your rants. One of my clients definitely is known for his rants, and it's a place to really connect people through to the just slightly controversial message that you might actually have. So it might be the place where you speak your mind and you get known for that. Or it might simply be that you're publicising something that you are promoting. But the key thing here is have a purpose and a reason for why you're doing the live, whether it's regular or a spontaneous one.
Why is important for everything, right?
If
If you don't know why and anything, then don't do it. The next page is
Oh my God, I'm juicy.
That wasn't Helena having a
No,
Tourette's moment.
that was Helen. Helen actually sort of like really, I think, quite secretly enjoying that.
So the next point to think about is, where are you going to do this live? Okay, you have the options. You can be, if you've got a Facebook group set up, you can do it in the group. You can do it on the page, or as Helena already alluded to, you can do it on somebody else's page. So there are benefits from all of them.
Yeah.
You'll probably realise that obviously this is happening on the Speaker Insight page, and we have the Connection Hub URL, which I'll put in there in a minute. If any of you aren't part of our group, you can come and join us in the Connection Hub. Now, the reason why we chose to do our Facebook Lives on our page and not in the group is primarily because you can't share the Facebook Live outside of the group if you do it in a group.
Exactly.
If you do it on your page, then people love it and they go, oh my God, somebody I know is really scared of Facebook Lives, they need to watch this video. They can share it to them in a private message or on their timeline.
Yeah.
If you have it in a group, then only that video is exclusive to the group members and they can't share it outside of that.
Yeah.
So it's a really good thing, going back to Helena's why are you doing this? If it's a contest that you want to promote that's only available to your group members, do it only in the group, right? But if you want something like what we do every week, which is predominantly a teach, that's our why.
Yeah.
We look at what you want training on, we deliver you training on the education around what you need, and that then people go, oh my God, I know somebody who needs this, and they share it.
Exactly.
So if you've done it on your page, you can share it, you can also put advertising spend around it, and you can also get a lot more insights on how long people are watching the videos from, what countries are they watching them from, all those types of things if you've got your page insights.
Yeah.
So The doing it in a group if it's an exclusive thing you want to promote, do it on your page if you want people to be able to promote it, and then what we do is we share it into the group.
Yes.
So there's the recording in there, but we don't do it in the group, we do it on the page.
Yeah.
And then finally you've got the benefits of doing it on somebody else's page, because a lot of time we talked about launching a product the other week, didn't we? And if you're doing a joint venture Facebook Live with somebody because you want to reach their audience, it's actually better that you go live as them, as a guest, so that the Facebook Live recording appears on their timeline and their audience with your call to action to come to your event or join your group or whatever it is you've agreed that you can promote to their audience. So think about what the benefit is for you, and then make sure that it's consistent on the group or the page, whichever one you decide to go live on.
That's exactly it. Yeah. And it might well be that you have some content that you only ever do in the group, and some content that is definitely widely available. So again, it comes back to the why are you doing it and what is it that you're sharing. So it may actually be that you have a live that is more in depth with somebody inside a group because you're getting in the insights from them, but the overview is what you share on your page. So again, that decision helps you choose where, the why question helps you choose where to share, if that makes sense. We also coined a little phrase a little while back, which is your page is your stage and your group is the after party. So, that's where the conversations will sort of start to take place, and you sharing it out from your page to your group allows you to really, serve your community or your group much better. Now, the third thing to consider then is, who is it really for? So if it is, for example, for an audience that you know and sort of know intimately, and you've got them nailed, and maybe it is in your group, and so it's more of a specific audience, that might change the nature of what you say to that group of people as opposed to the wider context of who's showing up on a page, for example. So there are some things to consider around that. What are they expecting? Do they have, Kelly was just talking about a particular style. Are they expecting a particular way of doing things? I think now that we've got sort of 10 of these under our belt, most people who've watched at least one are beginning to understand what to expect. I think most people, in my mind, this is what I make up. You can actually snap a photo of yourselves and let us know. But in my mind, I make up that you've got a whole notebook, that's just for our Facebook Lives. That's what I make up. Or at least some note-taking that goes on.
You think they're that organised?
No, good point. Good point. Speakers, authors, coaches. Good point, well made. Okay, good. But anyway, you've grabbed something and you're definitely scribbling notes. So if it is for your regular spot in the week, then you probably know who those people are, or who some of the people that show up regularly on your live are, or you'll know who shows up on the replays in that way. There's also something there about, if you know that, then what assumptions can you make about the levels of knowledge that they have about something? What assumptions can you make about what they might want to know? It allows you to step into their shoes, and if you're doing what we do, which is, the core of our being is connecting and teaching. And so if you're doing that, we can step into the shoes of everyone and say, okay, well, what is it that they really want to know? And then teach on the back of that, as well as Kelly said, about the polls, you find out what they actually want. And then the key thing for us really is your Facebook Live going to solve a problem? And if so, the answer is yes. And if so, what problem are you solving? Because that really marries the who and the what you're talking about.
Because Facebook Lives are for a lot of people where you can find your audience. So they might not know anything about you, but maybe you've put an ad behind a Facebook Live, or you've boosted it, or someone shared it. And because you've actually, and this is what I'm going to go on to as the next point, because the topic is really, what they're looking for at that time, they're like, okay, I don't know who these two crazy ladies are, but I really like the title of this. I need to do a Facebook Live like Julia. I need to do one today.
Yeah.
What do I need? How do I prepare for it? I'm going to watch this. And that's why it's really good to have call to actions to then say, well, if I'm using my Facebook Live to reach you, how do I then bring you into my network and start working with you and connecting with you in that way?
Yeah.
So that leads me on to the next point, which is actually, what are you going to talk about? so many people say this, is that, I know I need to do a Facebook Live, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do. What's the topic?
That's right.
And how much do I go into detail? And I had a client who used to say, oh my God, I do too much teaching, give too much free stuff away, and how do I then convert them into clients afterwards? So all these things are really important.
That's it.
And we're going to give you a couple of top tips around topics, titles, and content. So this is the next bit, right? The next bullet point stage for you.
And this is why planning is important. Actually taking, the half an hour or so to really think this stuff through based on the questions, really super useful.
Yeah. So when you're thinking about the title, if you're in the Connection Hub, we put a file together which has all of our previous Facebook Lives. So
it's quite amusing to do, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. But you'll probably look at our titles through there, and we are a real lover of how-to titles, right? Because we teach a lot, we're not so much ranty people, and I'm definitely not a spontaneous person, but it would normally be that we've looked at something, and even today's Facebook Live is, how to do this, etc., etc. So how-tos are quite good titles.
Yeah.
Other titles would be highlighting a problem, as Helena said before. What problem are you solving?
Yeah.
And another good title is actually talking about their aspirations. So we've done one about how to get your book a bestseller, right? So that's an aspiration for people. It's not a problem. They're like, yeah, I've got a book coming out. How do I make it a bestseller? Yeah. So those types of titles that are quite short, to the point. It's a little bit different than email titles, where I actually like to make them a little bit more
intrigue.
Like get curiosity up there, and they don't actually know what they're clicking on for, because actually you want people to go, I'm going to grab a cup of coffee, make 10 minutes, half an hour of my time to sit down and watch this, because I know I need the stuff that they're going to talk about.
That's it.
So make it quite clear, bit of like it does what it says on the box, as your Facebook title. You agree?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. And for some of you, actually, it might just be that, that's for those of you who are doing the education piece. For some of you, you might actually be more on the entertainment side, but you still probably want to create, so you might be more flexible with the intrigue frame a little bit in that way. But again, once your style is established, people will start to kind of filter into, yes, that's what I need to make this amount of time for, because that's what they're contributing to you. They're contributing their time, energy, attention on you for the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes, so you've got to make it worth their while and make it very clear for them what they're about to get.
And just to highlight that point that Helena just said, our Facebook Lives are probably longer than I would recommend that you do your Facebook Lives.
Yeah.
Right? Because we actually cram a lot into them, and maybe too much than what we should do.
Probably.
And we're still learning, and we were like, we
Let
can't
us
take
know.
that point out.
Actually, we'd love to know, I'd love to know, because actually they have started to kind of creep a little bit.
40.
Like it did start on 3 pages. We are going to give you a behind the scenes. We decided that. And actually, this one is 5 pages long for us, isn't it?
Yes.
This is a 5-pager.
So, and as she's talking about how long our notes are, but for most people, like any video, people don't have that time. So if you can get something across in 5 minutes, then please don't do it our way.
Don't waste people's time.
We just haven't mastered that skill to get the amount of detail down into. But give us some feedback. We will appreciate feedback. Feedback is the breakfast of champions.
Wow.
So going back to title and topic, in my opinion, I believe that Facebook Lives is your way to raise awareness of a topic, right? So it shouldn't be you actually giving all of your gold dust away and teaching them how to do stuff or what you would do in your book or your workshop or whatever. It's actually highlighting to them what they don't know that they don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so people are going, oh yeah, I know I need this topic because the title attracts me, but they're going to bring up some issues here of things that I've never thought of considering. I never thought about this. So therefore their intrigue and their awareness level grows, and you will give them some tips, some insights, some things to get the ball rolling, but you don't actually solve the problem for them.
Yeah.
Because what you want to do is bring them into your community, bring them to your workshop, get them to read your book. That then does that thing, okay? So think about how can you raise awareness. And this is when you start doing keyword research and finding out the simple questions that people ask. When I did research actually on Facebook Lives, the commonly asked question was, where do I look
Yeah.
when I'm doing the Facebook Live? And I'm useless at this. I look at the actual screen, but you really should look right here at the camera.
It's like
right
right
so
in
and I was
there.
like, oh, okay, I didn't realise that was actually one of the most commonly asked questions.
Yeah.
So you have to go, we've said this on many Facebook Lives, you have to go back to the really early stage stuff that you take for granted and teach that with insights and experience of how you can, how you've experienced. I've just seen you pop up on the screen.
Pointing.
So think about that. Yeah. There also might be regular things. If you're going to be doing your Facebook Live consistently, there might be regular things that people get used to. So people get used to ours at the beginning. We always do what's the buzz in your business, what's the buzz in our business. Because one of the things that we like you to use when you're networking, and we tell you what's gone on and promotion, like the publishing event that's happening this week. Yeah. So think about things that you consistently do. Have your introduction consistent.
Oh yes.
Right? Because if people are sharing this, people are like, who are these crazy women? Speaker Insight, the Connection Hub, who do we help? What do we do? We always put that at the beginning. So make sure that, yes, your audience will know this, but if they start sharing it, their audience won't know who you are at all.
It's like your 10-second pitch at the front of the thing. You know, whenever you're networking, and in some ways, you know, your Facebook Live is a form of networking. It's a way for others to meet you in some way. Yeah. Being consistent and actually telling people where they've arrived and who they're actually sort of listening to is just a polite thing to do, never mind anything else, right?
Yes.
Always nice.
So the next point in this is also when you're structuring the content, how are you going to get engagement from people, right? So we've asked some questions. We've asked you about, you know, if you've done a Facebook Live, put yes. If you haven't, put virgin. We've asked you for feedback. People are, you know.
Helen's basically going, if you want to try Concise, you want to try Instagram.
Yeah,
1 minute.
Saw that, yeah.
It's really fun.
But have that, right? Have that ability for people, because that's the beauty of live. If you're not doing engagement, you might as well just put a recorded video up. Yeah. But people want to go, okay, I want to ask the question. I actually want to pick their brains. I actually want to see, do they really know what their stuff? Because if I put a spontaneous question, then let me see if they actually are the real deal. Yeah. And that puts the fear of God in a lot of people.
I know. That can be a confidence eroder massively.
Let me go back to the days when I was a teacher, right? If I didn't know the answer to the pupils, I'd be like, that's for your homework.
Yeah, that's right. It's like,
but don't attempt to think that you need to know everything. Be honest, right? If you ask me a question, I'm not a Facebook Live expert. Yeah. I'm just going from my experience and what I've seen work. Yeah. If you ask me a question, I don't know the answer, I go, hey, guess what? I'm going to go and find that out for you, and I'm going to put the comment in and give you a response, because I don't know the answer to that, or I'm going to introduce you to somebody. So, in that respect, just think about how are you going to get engagement from people. And then we'll just talk about how do you check in with them as well, right? You've got to think about the new rules. When people are saying now in Facebook, you can't say share it or like it or all these types of things, because it actually detracts from the stats and the algorithms that people see it. So just ask people, how are they actually going to respond and give you feedback and do all those sorts of things. It's fine, hon. You've got loads of time. Yeah, it's fine. No worries. Cool. It's all right. We just got the battery symbol come up, but we've got plenty of time.
It's all good.
So you're going to talk about the testing side of things.
I am. I'm totally. So one of the key things for us is also the whole what equipment, what environment. And again, if you're doing this on a regular basis, really it's about having things set up so that you know, I think you've probably seen us in this background now for the last 6 weeks or so. We tried somewhere else before that.
When it's relatively sunny, we want to have a bit of sunny background, right?
We kind of like that. But you might want to use your environment to actually create the feeling of what you do and who you are, that helps set up how you do what you do. Now you'll notice that at no point are we kind of shaky wobbly. Shaky wobbly works if you're doing a very short one and you're outside somewhere and it's a spontaneous one. But if not, your tripod is your best friend. It is like no seasickness or anything like that for anyone, which is amazing.
I'm going to plug it in.
Your phone... Your phone, for some reason, the phone that we're using to actually do this Facebook Live has just decided that it's on low battery, even though it was fully charged a little while ago. So who knows what's going on there. But that's actually the next point I'm going to make, which is, do you have power available? Is it plugged in? Is your phone fully charged? Because you don't really want to, go... so you don't want your live to actually disappear as you go. Now, the other thing that you might want is actually a laptop or an iPad for the comments, because it can actually be a little bit disturbing. Now, Helen's just actually pulled in here. Yes, I'm very jerky at times, but you have an excuse. You're in your gym gear or you're out running and that sort of thing. So again, there's context around the equipment and around the environment that you're in, and that actually kind of works. The other thing is that, today is not a very, very bright day, so that actually kind of works for us in the background, so it's a nice background. But one of the things that I got, for those of you that saw the post that I did, Magic Whiteboard had a 12th birthday, and actually they do blackout sheets, which are amazing for your Facebook Lives and or any other filming that you do. You can literally put them on top of very, very bright windows and cut the sun out, which allows you to control your environment that little bit more, which means you're not actually squinting at a screen and that sort of thing. The other thing is are you using your brand colours? Are there props that you might want to use?
Here's one prepared.
Here's one prepared.
That's a microphone,
it's
by
a
the way.
Microphone. And a little bit of humour doesn't go amiss in your actual Facebook Lives. But are you branding what you're doing? Are you wearing the right wardrobe? Daisy, who is watching, very rightly picked me up on a complete wardrobe malfunction that happened a little while back. When my necklace broke halfway through, and it was really annoying, but actually it was quite distracting. So are you wearing the right wardrobe that says the right thing? So
it might just be coloured cushions in the background, or something that's, you don't have to have a blimmin' banner with your logo, and I'm not
here I am, this is what we're doing.
It's just that brand consistency that people like to see, right?
Yeah, it's totally amazing. So, what else?
So the next
Number
point,
6.
we're on 6 now, right? This is probably the thing that puts a lot of people's minds at ease, is doing a test, right? And that doesn't mean you have to do a test to everybody.
No,
right?
thank God.
One of the things that I work with.
The point of a test is to keep it secret.
So I just create a closed group called Secret Facebook Live Test Group, and if we want to test something out, new background or whatever it is, we just go live in that group.
Yeah.
Now that's great, because that gives you the ability to actually go, okay, where's the red button? Where's the record button? Mm-hmm. Have I got enough time to sit down before the countdown timer gets down? You can actually go, well, hang on a minute, that sunbeam's coming in over there, and that is really distracting, and I didn't notice that. So all the things of being able to do a test is a great way for you to actually put your mind at rest.
Yeah.
But the main problem with you guys is tech, right?
It is.
And who wants to have a tech nightmare? When we even us just having for some reason the phone going right down to no battery. Yeah. You're thinking it distracts you, but just be honest with people as well.
Yeah,
if you don't know where the finish button is, go, oh my God, I can't find the finish. You're human, right? This isn't you being paid 10 grand to speak on a keynote stage and everything has to be really precise.
Yeah.
It's about being you. It's not attempting to be perfect, but it's also about the confidence. And the more that you test, the more you learn stuff. So these are a couple of test things I want you to test out.
Definitely.
Test your equipment. So some people on different phones, when you're looking at comments, it will be swipe up, swipe left. Try and work out what your phone is to look at comments.
Yeah.
Work out how many comments you can actually see on the screen at the time.
Yeah.
Because if you've got loads of people commenting, most people can only see 3 to 5 comments.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh damn, how do I do that? How do I miss that?
Yeah.
What you've also got is making sure that you don't get disturbed. So don't have your do not disturb button on, so you're not going to have phone calls interrupting you.
Turn the volume down.
Yeah. And make sure your internet connection is strong, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're doing it in an area and you think, oh my God, it's really rubbish, all those types of things, and make sure that this is a mistake that a lot of people have made. Dennis made this actually, is that they hit the record button before they turn the phone landscape, right? We recommend you do your Facebook Lives in landscape.
Yeah.
But some people hit the record button, and then once you've hit the record button, it won't change the orientation of your screen.
Yeah.
So all these types of things are great to test in a test Facebook group before you go live.
And the thing about that is that, you know, you are getting things in the muscle memory. Like anything, you know, that 10,000 hours of practice and all of that, you know, for those of you who are reaching that, good for you. But there's something there about actually, if you've done it once, then all you're doing is a rinse and repeat. And so that builds your confidence so much more, because it takes any of the little mishaps out, which makes a lot of sense. Daisy just made me laugh because she's like, I must get back to my Facebook Lives.
Yeah. So point 7.
Yes, so advertise your Facebook Live. How do people know? How will people know that you are doing a Facebook Live? Now, for us, obviously, 1 p.m. on a Tuesday, it's become a regular. My hope is that people actually are putting it in their diary from here on in, but actually you can't rely on that. So make sure you put a post out. And in our case, you know, there's a regular meme that goes out with the title of the actual Facebook Live that we're doing. And we actually put that out not only on our page, but also in our group. And it means that you can actually remind people through a little meme, so a little picture with the title of your Facebook Live on it, that others can actually share out on your behalf as well. So in anticipation of it, particularly, you know, we had Steve Ockertall a little while ago, a couple of weeks ago, actually do one of these. So he was able to use our post to say that the Facebook Live was happening on his network. So he put it out on Twitter, he put it out, you know, sort of in his
LinkedIn.
Facebook groups, on LinkedIn, and so actually it's easy then to send that out to somewhere else and have more new people, or just people who need reminding, because hey, you know, who am I to think we're uppermost in most people's minds, right? Much as I might want to dream about that, it probably doesn't happen. For some people, they actually create a Facebook event out of this as well, to say that they are actually going to go live too.
Yeah, and that's good because it notifies you when you're going to go live.
Ping.
So it's all various things about promotion. There's no good doing Facebook Lives and not telling on about it.
That's
right?
it. That's exactly it. It's like, oh yeah. And of course, you know, once you have done it, then there is that whole, we can share it out, like Kelly was saying in point number 2. So
I'm just going to go back to Helen's question, who said, why does she think that landscape is better than portrait?
Oh, right.
It's a big debate, actually. I was actually taught by Ben Lithman, who's in the group, who's a videographer. He basically gave us the advice to do landscape. And the reason why I do landscape is because of repurposing the content. So if, say, for example, you're going to download your Facebook Live video and then upload it to YouTube or something like that, if you've got it in the landscape thing, then you don't have the 2 black lines across it when you're changing it onto that widescreen view. So it's actually better for me. My reason for doing it is for the repurposing of it. But I think there is a videographer sort of resolution thing why landscape is better. I have no idea.
And honestly, for me, it's actually about being able to read it more easily. I know that seems like a really practical thing, but actually it's just easier for me to read across the screen as opposed to like in portrait.
It's a preference, right?
It
but
is.
You've got to think about, again, going back to the why, the first number 1 point, why are you doing your Facebook Live?
Yeah.
We do it for reach. We're going to be repurposing it and
That's
putting it
right.
out there, so that's why we do it in that purpose.
Yeah.
So, number 8, last point.
Consistency.
Yeah, we have covered this. It's consistency versus spontaneity.
Yeah.
Spontaneity is a word that puts fear of God into my heart because my highest value is structure.
Hang on. Consistency or spontaneity?
So let's have a look. We've spoken about the fact that if you do consistent posts, people expect it and they'll be looking out for it. Especially your fans, your regular people that tune in. They've actually, I mean, God, who was it that said? I think it might have even been Tony who said, or it might have been Brett. When are your Facebook Lives going to be? I'm going to schedule them in my diary, right?
Yeah.
So that's the level of consistency that they want to know at 1 o'clock every Tuesday. It's in his diary.
Yeah.
So there's that level. It's also really important for you to work out, and we know this, right? There are lurkers on Facebook. I'm a lurker, right? I'm a lurker.
Yes.
And you don't realise who is actually watching your video, whether they comment or like. there are people in there that will consistently tune in, and it's just their preference style that they don't want to make themselves known, and I'm cool with that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm here to
They're
learn.
the replay watchers.
Oh, they're the live ones
Well,
as
they're
well.
sometimes
Sometimes
live,
you can't
yeah,
always
that's
see
true.
who's live. But in that respect, do it for those people as well, because there are so many people that we've spoken to, we don't even know are in the group, and go, oh my god, your Facebook Lives are great. We're like,
Yeah. Really?
You know,
Who are you?
Yeah.
Like, have you been watching?
So the consistency is great for them, but be spontaneous. God, I never think I'd ever say those
I
words.
know, right? Who are you?
When you be spontaneous, it's like maybe you've seen something that inspires you. Maybe you've just you want to promote something.
Yeah.
Maybe you've just like experienced something, and you go, I need to share that top tip with my network, right?
Yeah.
So just get on. It doesn't have to be professionally lit and set up and post-it noted out like we've got. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at Daisy because you can plan to have a good hair day. Which I love, and completely is not in my sphere of reference whatsoever, but I love it.
Bloody hell.
I know.
So think about it, right? Be consistent is my top tip.
Yeah.
But also give people, so it's not like monotonous and things, give people some variety. Just pop in there and do something, especially if you just walked away from a client or you're on holiday or something, just to bring a variety to the post, just to say hi, or just to say a top tip, or just to highlight, oh my god, this was a great way of marketing this book I've just seen in Waterstones. Whatever it might be, just be spontaneous and consistent.
No, I totally agree. And Alison's just brought up a really good point just around the whole, if you are going to do a slightly longer live, then at least when you're posting a replay, you can say, you know, at about 15 minutes in, this happened, or 3 minutes in, actually we started doing the content, or that sort of thing. That's particularly relevant for those of you. Now, you'll notice, if you've watched us a lot, that we don't do an awful lot of hello this and hello that and interrupting.
Because it's my bugbear.
Yeah.
When you're watching a Facebook Live and someone's deep in content. Oh, hi, Bob! Oh, hi, hi!
You're like,
just
what?
shut up. Just get on with what you were teaching.
Yeah, and so that regularity can actually be now the teach starts, and that can actually be incredibly useful from a repurposing perspective as well, because you don't necessarily, you know, what if you did want to use it somewhere else, but suddenly you've got these high bobs and whatever else that is completely incongruous in there. So again, we're back to the very start, which is, why are you doing this in the first place, and how are you going to plan it out? So here comes the call to action, because you know how we said there are always regular features. You'll know that we always start with a buzz in our business, and we always end with a little call to action for you. And so we have a mini Facebook Live challenge for you. Go live. Go live. If you've never done it.
But we will need to go live in our group.
Yes, please.
So join the Connection Hub. We put the link in the comments. But even if it's just 30 seconds, it's just to JDFI, right?
Yeah.
Because once you've done it that first time, I know we're in a test, but we're going to do it live to a group. Just come and say hi, or share a top tip, or introduce yourself, or whatever it feels like you need to do.
Light bulb moment.
Light bulb moment is our coaching competition running at the moment. Enter into that, right?
Yeah.
Do something so you can actually go, that wasn't as bad as what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And so whether you do them all the time, come and do it, by all means.
Just use the hashtag
Facebook
Live Challenge. So just do that, and then we'll know what you're doing.
Hashtag Facebook Live Challenge. And that is us done. Hopefully, having imparted some ways, because we really do know that planning something gives you a lot more. What do you want us to talk about? Planning actually gives you a lot more confidence, because you'll know and you'll have rehearsed already. Simply by thinking about it, you'll be thinking about what to say, how to say it, who it's for, all of the things that we've talked about, and that is the thing that will give you a level of confidence to then just do it.
Yeah, perfect. And Daisy, I'd love to do whatever you want, but I'd love a top wardrobe tip, please.
Definitely. One for the men, one for the women, please.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Have a great week, everyone. See you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.